Okay, this video is about Saturn going over your Ascendant, and I started looking at astrology a couple of years ago, and I'm very grateful that I did, because Saturn going over my Ascendant has been a very trying period for me, and had I not known what was going on and had I not been looking at astrology, then it would have been very challenging and very hard, because I would not have understood how to work with the energy of Saturn going over my Ascendant. Saturn takes 29 years to go around a birth chart, 29 and a half years. Now Saturn is to do with apparently karma, and it's like a teacher. It's the lessons we're here to learn, and it's a bit of a taskmaster. It's time to grow up, mature, and depending on what house it's in, it will affect that area of life. But when Saturn goes over the Ascendant, which is going from the 12th house into the first house, it's a time of endings, and then it's a time of new beginnings. But it's quite a full-on process. It's not like, yeah, I'm getting rid of that and wow, I'm going to do this. It's, it's work. It's like time to do our work and time to grow up. And I'm going to read to you what Saturn in the 12th house means. Earlier this year, Saturn was in my 12th house, and then it went into my first house, still in Sagittarius, and then it moved back because of the retrograde period from April until next week, which is August the 25th. It's still retrograde. Then it will go over my Ascendant again. So I've had a double whammy because of the retrograde period of Saturn going over my Ascendant twice. So I'm going to read about the 12th house, what it means prior to Saturn crossing the Ascendant, and then I'm going to read what it means when it goes into the first house, and then I'm going to give you a bit of my own experience of what it actually means as it's been happening to me. Okay, so Saturn in Sagittarius in the 12th house is a finishing up time. Saturn in this house can be hard to go through, as structures from your past that you once counted on are now passing away. Your old ways of handling people, places, things are going to have to change. You need a new vision, but it might not come right away. You might find yourself withdrawing into yourself at this time. You are processing aspects of your life that you feel you have accomplished, and also the ones that you feel that you have also may have failed in. And it says that while Saturn's in your 12th house and prior going over Ascendant, try not to be too hard on yourself. Sagittarius here can give you the relief through travel or an outdoor time of solitude and replenishment, a little spacing out in nature and beauty, a place where you can feel safe, or a place that feels magical to you, to help you release old patterns and help you to come up with new answers. So for me, when Saturn was going through my 12th house, what I found was that I started a business at 21, 29 and a half years ago. When I was 21, I started a business. So what's happened is Saturn going over my Ascendant means that I basically have walked away from a business that I've been doing for 29 years to start something new, but I haven't quite started it yet, but I'm in the throes of leaving something behind and going into something new. The endings didn't come about the way particularly I wanted them to come about. They were quite hardcore. It wasn't, it was almost like some of my choices had been taken away from me, but because I knew what was happening, I felt I could go with the flow. I was speaking to a couple of astrologers I know that I found through YouTube, and I was able to, they've been able to assist me in helping me look at where my other planets are, because I also had my Chiron return in March of this year, 2017. So there's been a lot of healing, a lot of letting go, and then a lot of walking into a new future. So now I'm going to explain to you about Saturn going over the Ascendant and into the first house, what this period of time means, or what it's meant for me. So Saturn in Sagittarius in the first house begins a new cycle of personal growth and understanding about yourself. You will be more serious during this period of time. You will become more mature as you spend time reflecting and working on personal growth. The changes you make in yourself can be long-lasting and have value because they free you up from an old way of life. After you do your personal work and reflection, you may be attracted to or become a special teacher to someone, or someone who will inspire you to a new vision of selfhood. After this transit is over, you will notice that you have begun to act differently to the outside world. You are less reactive and more proactive. If Saturn is transiting this house, you are making a new identity for yourself. Now, I can absolutely tell you without a doubt that I'm really been transforming myself. I've also found that I've been doing this by, I did withdraw. I wanted to withdraw from what I was doing, but I didn't know how I was going to withdraw from what I was doing. But it was almost like the universe worked through me, and the withdrawal of what I wanted to withdraw from happened in a way which was really, really stressful, but I can't see that it would have happened any other way. Now, that was with a business that I've been in 29 years. And then I also found that relationships that I'd been taking part in, a lot of those fell away. I had to really face up to things and get real about my finances. I had to get real about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And I've taken up things in the last, maybe this year, like I've got an interest in astrology. Prior to when it was in my 12th house, I was training in something called Faster EFT. I was learning about my own mind and my own healing. So I can see that what I've been doing this year is investigating things, looking at the mind, looking at how to help people heal, looking at astrology, looking at my diet, looking at how I'm going to look after my body and look after my mind. So I really did withdraw from society, but not in an absolute reclusive way, but one that could look reclusive from the outside world. I'm quite happy being on my own, and I'm quite happy just investigating things. I haven't got this full thrust forward yet, but I know that as Saturn moves into my first house, that I'm going to be really finding out who I am, and I'm very aware that what I'm doing will take me through the next maybe 30 years of my life. There's no doubt in my mind, but I haven't quite clarified yet exactly what it is, meaning that the absolute thing that I'm going to be doing, it looks like I've got a few things up my sleeve in the healing arts, if you want to call it the healing arts, but clearly it's helping people, being of service. Clearly a chart is not just one aspect. An astrology chart is not just one aspect. It's the totality of what's going on. But it's a very interesting period, and it can be extremely stressful. But the more you investigate it, Google it, what house it's in. Clearly is going to be the Ascendant is going into the first house, so you know that much. But you can find your chart on astro.com and find out a bit about your own birth chart. It's a fascinating thing to look at, astrology, because you can really begin to find out who you are and what you're doing here, and possible past lives if you believe in that, and what future you can be working with, and the energies that we're working with. One more thing here, I'm transiting Saturn when it conjuncts the Ascendant. It says this marks a major life change. In the end, it is the end of an interest in the outward and social world and the start of a more inward journey during which you absorb and take in new information. Letting go of past success is a necessity. So, clearly I let go of a business. I mean, it couldn't have been planned, just beautiful seeing it in my chart, that the beginning of a business at 21 years old and the ending of it as Saturn crossed my Ascendant. So really beautiful to consider the planets in our evolutionary growth and to see where we're heading. It's not looking at the future, it's looking at the energies we're working with. We have absolute free will, I do believe that, and what we do with the information is up to us. But I'm looking forward to the next couple of years of my life, and I think that it's a positive aspect to know. That's it. That's what I've got to say about Saturn crossing my Ascendant. I could tell you a lot more, but of the real difficult sort of stuff that's gone on, but I can see the benefits of all of the difficulties that could appear to be difficulties if we do not know what's going on. You know, there is light at the end of this tunnel. It's like a metamorphosis. That's how I can describe it. Thanks for listening, and if you want to know more, you can all go to my Letting Go Techniques page. I do different therapies there, helping people to release and heal traumas and such like, and addictions. That's the other thing I'm up to. But I really wanted to put this video out there on the Saturn on the Ascendant. Thanks for watching.